Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kddl3 Discourses for Daily Living, Element 3, and Shift Masters 2, Part 1. Thank you for joining us. For those of you who have joined us for Kddl2, welcome back, and for those who are new to the program, hi, and hope you enjoy it. Thank you for your patience. We're running a few days late because we've been getting new information in progressively since the last time we saw everyone in, I think it was the 28th of August. And when we finished Kddl2, we pretty much hit the ground running and have been very, very busy ever since, running around all over the place doing grid work and similar things like that. So I appreciate your patience in that. We'd like to say hi and welcome, and Jan Andres is here with me as well. And you want to say hi?
Hi everyone, good to have you with us.
Right. And we are again streaming live from Oslo, Norway. So the program that we have, we were going back to the shorter format of normal KDDL courses, which are intended to be at least 6 hours, but not necessarily longer than that. And we were planning to do that over 3 days, about 2 hours a day. But what we're going to do instead is we'll have at least 6 hours. It may be over that, but we're going to need to finish it in 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, because Sunday evening, Norway time, we have to catch a plane back to the States. And we already changed the tickets once, so we can't do that again. It gets expensive. So we will be giving you all of the information that's in the program that we had sent out to you, and we'll be doing it in just a little bit more condensed form. So we will begin with session 1, which we'll look at in a little while. What I would first like to do, the Guardians did this for KDDL2 as well, where they had a bit of opening considerations that they helped me prepare. They actually work with me in preparing the writing, and they want me to read it. So they have another set here for KDDL3 opening, and it talks a bit about the Guardian material. And KDDL2, in their opening, they spoke a bit about how the Guardian material, which includes the Freedom Teachings and the Tantriyoga teachings, how the Guardian material is intended to inspire us. In this reading, they are taking that beyond, where it's not just inspiring, but it's meant to do some other things too. The reason they wanted to look at these things first in this writing that I will read is because of the subject matter that will be covered in KDDL3. They've given us some new information pertaining to what's referred to as the Nomi gene. In KDDL2, they had just introduced the Nomi races and the fact that the human genetic code has a part of what is referred to as the Nomi gene in it. The Nomi gene, as far as being part of the Earth human populations, was seeded with Earth seeding 3 about 800,000 years ago, but it is, as we're learning now, much, much older than that. So in session 3, we will be looking more at the Nomi gene, and they wanted to bring some of the information surrounding that, just the considerations surrounding that, up to the fore a little, especially for new people that might not be familiar with the freedom teachings or the things that the Guardians have taught before regarding their perspectives, their theoretical perspectives on our race's origins and history. So I will begin the KDDL3 with reading the opening considerations that the Guardians would like us to look at. So it says, the Guardian material and the theoretical reality of everything. In sharing the Guardian material information with us, the AMCC MCEOGA are hoping to inspire us to remember, reach for, and reclaim our greatness as individuals and as a species. They are also trying to help us understand their perspectives and their observations regarding the current position of our planet within its galactic, universal, cosmic, and historical context, and the organic evolutionary process of our human species, its historical context, and the future potentialities still remaining for our evolution, which are the 3 paths of free will choice that were introduced in KDDL2. The AMCC MCEOGA share their perspectives as a theoretical platform for us to consider because they remember our species, its origins, and the aspirations of its creation, and they hope that the knowledge they share and assist us in accessing can help us to remember and re-empower ourselves, to reclaim our eternal evolutionary birthright, and to challenge us to participate in conscious re-evolution to fulfillment of our eternal life potentials. They also present it in a theoretical platform because they have no attachment as to whether or not we accept or believe their perspectives, or even believe that the AMCC-MCEOGA actually exist. But they do feel that we have a right to know of and to consider their perspectives as we struggle to reclaim our ability of intelligent, informed, conscious re-evolution on a planet whose destiny has engaged the inevitable re-evolution of consciousness. The information and perspectives presented in the Guardian material not only inspires us, but also suggests that existence, the cosmos, and the nature of personal reality are much larger, deeper, richer, and more eternally sacred than we have yet to currently imagine. The information challenges us to remember and reach for our eternal, limitless potential. The Guardian material dares us to ponder the possibility of the seemingly impossible, such as we are not alone in the cosmos and never have been, such as we are an intrinsic part of an eternal cosmos that is teeming with life of infinite variety, to which we are intricately interconnected. It dares us to consider that death is an inorganic disease, and bioregenesis of our dormant transfiguration factor is potentially the final cure. It nudges us to ponder that there are eternal natural laws of multidimensional physics that govern the structure and mechanics of all energy, creation, and consciousness. Natural laws through which all creation comes into being and eventually returns to its eternal source. And that suffering is caused through progressive degenerative deviation from and misuse of these organic eternal natural laws. And it moves us to consider that we are all individuated from one eternal source, Effie, the eternal first field intelligence. It doesn't matter what name you call it. Effie is simply an acronym for Eternal First Field Intelligence. Names aren't necessary. We individuated from one eternal source. We are given the privilege of free will choice expression. And eventually, be it through our choice of organic transfiguration, bardo, or space dust return, we will all return to this eternal state. And the Guardian material reminds us that we have the power, right, and responsibility to choose what we believe our organic worth and potential to be. We each have the right and power to choose to accept and embrace thoughts, theories, beliefs, and ideologies that uplift, genuinely empower, validate, heal, and sustain us, power of positive attitude. We each have the right and power to choose to reject and ignore thoughts, theories, beliefs, and ideologies that repress, diminish, disempower, devalue, invalidate, harm, and drain us. Disempowerment of lactitude theologies. Theoretical ideologies of creation and cosmos. The Guardian material is an affirmative theoretical platform, an empowering perspective of large-scale multidimensional knowledge and understanding. It represents a comprehensive, cohesive, liberating perspective of thoughts, ideas, information, and broad-spectrum observation and knowledge that collectively represent a coherent ideology pertaining to the nature, structure, mechanics and dynamics of the eternal cosmos, all creation there within, and pertaining to the intrinsic integral realities of the human condition and our species' potential. The guardian material is presented as a theoretical ideology of creation and cosmos, theories, ideas, and perspectives to be considered in our quest for greater understanding of ourselves and the nature of reality. All other ideologies, be they religious or scientific in nature, are also simply theories of creation and consciousness, to be considered in our quest for understanding. Is reality the way the guardian material describes it? Or is reality the way currently described by our many conflicting, polarized theoretical assumptions? Either or. Well, maybe it's both. The theory of everything need not be mutually exclusive, pitting various ideas perpetually against each other in a win-lose battle war for supremacy of value and ultimately stalemate stagnation. From the AMCC MCEO GA perspective, the theory of everything is inevitably inclusive, a win-win conversation through which greater potentials, growth, and understanding can be fostered. A theory is simply a set of ideas about something. We can choose idea sets, theories, that serve and set free our organic, eternal potentials of genuine, altruistic, highly purposed greatness, both individually and collectively. Or we can choose idea sets and theories that blind us to the possibilities of our trua nature, ideas which keep us forever enslaved in disempowered mediocrity and purposeless existence. That choice belongs to each of us, every moment of every day, in every one of our many incarnational lives. Theoretically speaking, of course. One of the greatest theoretical idea sets the guardian material has emphasized and inspires us to remember includes the following ideas. Thoughts are things, energy constructs that set the template for matter and experience manifestation. And your beliefs create your reality. And the guardians aren't the first ones who have said that in public, on earth, recently, in recent times. We are born as unconscious creators, imbued with the hidden power and gift of manifestation. As we become more conscious, self-aware, and informed, we can grow to become conscious creators, with greater power and skill to design and manifest our chosen destiny. And also, what we focus on expands, what we resist persists, what we energize comes alive, and when you be it, you will see it. All of which imply that ultimately we will be met with the product, manifestation, consequence of our routinely chosen focus of attention, both individually and collectively as a species. As we become more aware, skilled, and innocently, fearlessly adventurous in exploring the nature of reality and our eternal authentic identity, we will progressively become more able to design our own living experience in accordance with our happy dreams, enabling us then to reach out and help others to do the same. Here's where we go a bit interstellar. Theoretical reality, bioregenesis, elsewhere, and heroic truth. One of the unique attributes of the guardian material is the scope and coherence of the theoretical worldview it presents. Not only are the nature, structure, mechanics, and dynamics of multidimensional creation and consciousness addressed, but we are also presented with an expanded, alternative theoretical broadband view pertaining to our human origins, history, genetic evolutionary potentials, and the possibilities of our place within a non-random, highly purposed, hugely inhabited, multidimensional cosmos. From the AMCC MCEO GA Guardian's perspective, humanity is remembered, not as a finite hominid life form that randomly evolved on Earth through natural selection, as our current sciences suggest, but rather as an originally eternal life, multidimensional, planetary guardian species, the angelic human, that was purposefully and intentionally seeded on Earth from the vastitude of multidimensional stars. In the Guardian's view, if we desire to discover proof of extraterrestrial life, all we need to do is look in the mirror. As well as perceiving the human species as an interdimensional starborn race, the Guardian material also offers us theoretical insights into the origins, nature, and hidden potentialities within our human genome, such as the Nomi gene potential, and provides us with exercises in consciousness, meditations, and projection techniques through which we can explore these potentials and delve more deeply into embracing our personal, eternal, authentic nature. Another heroically audacious attribute of the Guardian material is the perspective that there is an intimate connection and interaction between our human genome, our biology, our multidimensional anatomy and consciousness, and the literal physical and multidimensional energetic structure of our planet and the cosmos. The AMCC and CEO-GA theories of the PBIS, Planetary Biofeed Interface System, the Planetary Templar, Plasma Template Pillar Grids, Solar Symbiosis, Magnetic Reconnection and Interflow of Plasmas, Interdimensional Space-Time Transit Systems, aka Stargate Networks, and the biogenetic Templar encryption coding of our biological life forms to the multidimensional anatomy of our planet and the space-time continuum. These open a vast frontier of as yet untapped possibilities and explorations that our sciences here have not even yet to consider. These theories bravely propose that there are currently unseen eternal, organic, multidimensional, benevolent energetic forces and dynamics continually occurring between our consciousness, bodies, our planet, and the cosmos, all eventually comprehensible through the advanced dynamics and inherent laws of interdimensional quantum physics. And also suggest that humanity has the ability to consciously interact with and potentially consciously co-create with these intrinsic, sustaining eternal forces. The ideas presented within the Guardian material offer a picture of a vast, currently unseen world of which we are intimately a part, a multidimensional reality of which we presently remember nothing, but by which we are continually and inevitably affected. We are affected, influenced, and ultimately sustained by this unseen world, from the Guardian's perspective. Like gravity, this unseen world affects us all, whether or not we know of it or believe that it exists. Quite simply, the Guardian material challenges us to consider the existence of this unseen world of ultimate influence, and offers us safe, easy, internally motivated, self-empowered, benevolent methods to explore the nature and potentials of our personal interrelationship to this currently unknown reality, in order to deepen our understanding of the nature and potentials of ourselves, the human collective, and the cosmos. In playfully exploring the ultimate frontiers of multidimensional trans-time theoretical reality, we might just rediscover heroic aspects of our personal, eternal, authentic selves, and begin to remember greater things about our own potentially intrinsic, benevolent, altruistic nature. Perhaps we will remember and rediscover that our intrinsic personal identity came from elsewhere before it was born here. It will continue on and return to elsewhere, long after our physical bodies have left here. And that while we are here, we have the option of reestablishing living reconnection to and remembrance of this personal, eternal, authentic, heroic nature. Also, in all things and theories considered, perhaps it only takes a proportionately small few of us to explore, embrace, and potentially remember that the core of the human condition might just be an intrinsic, benevolent, altruistic nature. Perhaps, too, it takes only a small percentage of the global population to remember that we personally, individually, intentionally, incarnated here from elsewhere, to become the tiny but mighty gentle heroes, through which positive, sustainable, eternal, authentic re-evolution and reawakening of consciousness and tangible bioregenesis of the angelic human genome can potentially occur. The question of what is your truth is a right, responsibility, and intrinsic quest to every human born upon this planet. Common truth is a relative term and exists in direct relationship to whatever theories, beliefs, and idea sets to which it is compared. Sometimes the truth is not either this or that, but instead both. And each person will see the part of it upon which conscious focus is pointed, while being blind to the rest of the picture. Perhaps also there is an eternal, indelible truth of how everything actually works, through which all common truths are ultimately united and comprehensibly understood. The question of a lifetime that is implied by each of our individual identities is, do we choose a heroic truth that suggests the greatest potentials, or do we choose a mediocre truth just because it's currently popular and endorsed by present-day theories? Last section. The current AMCC, MCEOGA Guardian Material programs, Kddl2 and Kddl3. Along with the more brazen heroic attributes of the Guardian material theories previously mentioned, there are also quite practical techniques of self-exploration and personal enrichment based upon these theories contained within the Guardian material. From the potentialities held within common theoretical ideas, such as thoughts are things, your beliefs create your reality, and when you be it, you will see it, to the currently popular ideas of the power of positive thinking, the law of attraction, and the ever-abundant universe, the Guardian material approaches these contemporary ideas in a broadband, inclusive, and empowering manner, while couching them within a theoretical context of greater coherent cosmological order. Current theoretical programs of the AMCC, MCE, OGA Guardian material, such as the KDDL and Shift Masters courses from the Tantrior teachings, focus upon Earth Sync, personal and planetary plasma template synchronization, bringing together aspects of our present multidimensional biological anatomy and bioregenesis potentials with aspects of our planetary, galactic, and cosmic dynamics as they are currently unfolding, so that we may begin to grasp and consciously co-create with the heroic potentialities of our organic place within our purposed cosmos. The meditations and projection activation techniques offered in these Guardian material courses allow us opportunity for playful self-exploration, spiritual growth, and personal enrichment, while simultaneously preparing us for the greater cosmological theoretical realities of which the Guardians speak. Just in case the Guardian theories turn out to be tangible realities, we will be prepared in multidimensional consciousness and biology to meet whatever circumstances such new realities may bring. In the KDDL2 Shift Masters 2 Introduction program that ran from March 20th through August 28th, 2015 as the seemingly never-ending webshop, we learned many theoretical new things pertaining to Templar Earth Sync dynamics and our current potentialities of conscious re-evolution, as we revisited and rediscovered the integral congruence that has always been characteristic of the theoretical worldview perspectives put forth within the Guardian material. Highlights of what we explored in the KDDL2 Shift Masters 2 intro program include panoramas of the Panakai, what's at the top of the stairway to heaven, the Panacoletta Compound Templar activation, which engaged March 23, 2015, also known as the Pan-Pan dance, the first ever planetary He2 long-run time wave engagement, which engaged on April 2nd, 2015. In KDDL2, we learned of the 5 transfiguration cycles, the ephemeral transfiguration and regenesis of the transfiguration factor. We learned the 8 stages of Trua plasma body activation. We learned of the victory seeds and the Kaliakshate time template seals. We learned of the activation of the pink fire, blue ice, and violet vapor transplanial frequencies. We learned of galactic events of the M31 Andromeda re-evolutionary rise reconnection and the Milky Way Fermi fall fold. We learned of magnetic reconnection, planetary crystal bridge passage, and the 3 paths of free will. We learned of the 8 steps of the Pan-Pan dance Earth Sync, hosting yourself home via your ephema quantum. We learned restoration and transfiguration of the Xeon and release of the Vabati cell vector lockdown on our atomic structure. We learned activation of the heart of ephema center, cracking the shell of contention, and building the ephemeral capsule reconnection vehicle. They were just some of the things we learned in KDDL2. And interestingly, KDDL2 was 144 days plus, and that was plus, there was more. But of those 144 days, it was an average of at least 8 hours a day. So that's somewhere, 1,150 hours or something went into that program. So the KDDL2 Shift Masters 2 intro program is unique in that this program progressively unfolded as our planetary Templar engaged quite monumental first ever Pan-Pan dance frequency activations of the Crystal River failsafe host. And the program content progressively expanded as its time period extended to 144 days plus, in keeping up with the planetary Templar Pan-Pan dance compound activation. In this KDDL2 Plus program, we had opportunity to explore a far larger body of information than was originally intended for this program, and to engage EarthSync techniques and plasma Trua body activations that constituted a 12-year leap in frequency advancement. Through the KDDL2 Plus program, we completed steps 1 and 2A through D and initiated step 3 of the 8 steps of the Pan-Pan dance EarthSync. The steps completed in KDDL2 are as follows. 1. Activation of the ephema crystal silken plasma wave. 2. Initiation of Zephyron Epheia cycle via hosted K+8 quantum boost 5th round infusion, which included restoration of the Xeon quantum, fetal imprint Vabati vector lockdown release, transfiguration of the Xeon into the Zephyron, and Epheia Zephyron elemental clearing cycle initiation. And we began step 3 of the Pan-Pan dance, the crack point, Epheia spark, and cracking the shell of contention. We're reviewing those briefly here because we will be picking up with those activations in KDDL3. And for people who didn't take the KDDL2 course, there is a quick catch-up that is part of what will be Technique 1 and 2 that we will do after in this session 1. So you don't have to worry if you haven't taken the KDDL course yet, KDDL2 course yet. If you would still like to, we do recommend it because it has tons of the technical information. Plus, if you use those techniques even after the techniques from KDDL3, it will amplify and speed up how the technique activations work for KDDL3. So it's up to you if you haven't taken KDDL2 if you want to or not. But you won't be left behind with the KDDL3 activations because triggering a subharmonic activation of what we activated in KDDL2 is imbued within the techniques in KDDL3. Okay. As well as introducing new exciting material and techniques on the rainbow reservoirs, the Nomi gene, and ephemeral manifestation. The techniques and plasma Trua body activations of the 8 steps of the Pan-Pan dance featured in this KDDL3 Shift Masters 2 Part 1 program will pick up where we left off in KDDL2. The Pan-Pan dance steps to be completed in KDDL3 are as follows. Excuse me. Step 3, cracking the shell of contention. There's more to that step that we weren't able to do until the grid activations that came through since Kddl2. So we'll be finishing cracking the shell of contention, and we will be finishing that and 2 techniques before it in session 1, this session. After that, in session 2, we will be addressing flashing the seals of Kali Akshate. Step 5, which is step 4 of the Pan dance. Step 5, the Quanta Ratada alignment. Step 6, opening the Panakai passage and firing the Panclara Mashaya silver seed. And step 7 of the Pan dance, expedited silver seed embodiment and Quanta Ratada Merkaba activation. So in session 2, we will be completing those activations. Now, we're going to go on to reviewing briefly the itinerary or the summary of this Kddl3 program, so we can see what we're going to be doing and when we're going to be doing it. And then we'll do a little small recap on the information from Kddl2 that you will need to understand and remember, even if you've taken that course, what we're doing when we go into techniques 1, 2, and 3 in Kddl3, which we will do techniques 1 and 2 right after we do this review, and then we'll take a short break, probably a half hour. Then we will do technique 3. Technique 3 is very special. It's quite exciting, actually. It's going to be run. They've already brought me through it, like personally, and it may take a while. We were in for like an hour when they took me through it. So it's actually my favorite technique that I've had so far ever in any of the Guardian material. So I hope you'll enjoy that. So we will take the break between technique 1 and 2. They'll go together, and then break then technique 3. And then after we do that, however long technique 3 takes, then we'll take a longer break, and I'll finish the preparation of session 2, because they're giving me more information for that. But by Sunday, we will be finished with at least 6 hours of the program as promised. I'm not sure if it'll run over that. It might. We have the challenge of Norway. Europe is 6 hours ahead of the States, so we need to be on a plane Sunday night, which is tomorrow night. So we have 6 hours less, basically, over here. So we'll go and look at next. These are basically the shots from Oslo that we had on before in Kddl2. Since we're streaming from Oslo, we put those up before, again for you. So we'll go on to the overhead projector now, please. Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Sorry. Here we go. I think I'll stand for this one. Alrighty. Geolantic Discourses for Daily Living, Element 3, and Shift Masters 2, Part 1. So session 1. This is what we're going to be doing in session 1. This is session 1. There's no orientation session for this because it's the shorter 6-hour format. So this is basically the orientation and session 1 together. The opening discussion, the theoretical reality of everything, is what I had just read to you. And that is where it's funny, when we get those, the Guardians ask me to start talking about a certain thing, and then they kind of write with me. So it's partially me and partially me from a different layer of consciousness. When we write those things together, they kind of guided along of what they would like in those writings. So that is what was read again for this session. Now we're going to do the briefing, which I'm just going to go through really quickly, the 8 steps of the Pan dance, especially for people who are just coming into Kddl3 and haven't seen Kddl2. And remember, the Pan dance is short for the Panacoletta compound Templar activation that began in I believe that was March 23rd of 2015 during Kddl2. So we'll just look at these briefly. This is what I want to look at first really quickly, the preview. I'm going to do a preview of the whole itinerary just so you see some of the, I can elaborate a little bit on some of the things that are going to be covered, particularly in session 3, which is all new material that I didn't know they were going to put into Kddl3. All right, so preview the new material. Earth Sync update and related regenesis, which means the techniques for bioregenesis. All right, the rainbow reservoirs of the Nomia Sunnate cathedrals. And these are the between-time fields of median Earth deep planes in the Aphia, Aurea, Alhambra, Panicalera spectra ELF field. So we'll look at more of where that is and what that is as the sessions move forward. The Rainbow Run. This was very interesting. And this is why after, on the 28th of August, we literally hit the ground running. We had to catch a car ferry to begin this this tour of duty, let's say. When they had us go, we had 6 countries in 9 days, and not one airplane was involved, which is kind of interesting because usually that's the fastest way to go. So we actually, it was a road trip. And Andreas was driving, bless him, and we went through this road trip, and I'm asking the guardians, why? What is this about? Why are these sites significant? And they said, don't worry, we'll tell you later. We know what we're doing. It's stealth. Just go and do it. So we went through this. Part of it was with a trip with a group, and then we deviated from that and continued on with the trip as the guardians had recommended. So we will look at briefly what our little it looks like a lasso loop through the European grids. This has to do with, in session 3 we'll talk about it more, what does the Mayan dark road mythologies have to do with this road trip that we just did? And what does that have to do with the rainbow reservoirs? So there's a whole body of information that they just put together for me to understand in order to teach to you that has to do with the rainbow reservoirs and certain grid sets that are in the European grids that go way back into the Atlantean periods. They're considered the old world grids. And we'll talk more about what that is, what that has to do with the phenomena of the dark flowering that was occurring in the planetary Templar, and how the activation of the rainbow reservoirs begins to heal that issue in the planetary Templar. So we'll look more at that in session 3, but it's pretty exciting information. It also is information about the techniques that we're not only going to do the techniques that we mentioned, but as we get through, we'll look at the other techniques that we're going to do that have to do with these rainbow frequencies that are very special frequencies from Araya Earth, which is further in the future technically, but also further up in frequency from median Earth in the Panclara deity planes where we've been projecting to. It's the fulfillment of Earth's evolution, where Earth becomes a star, but a star you can live on. So we're going to be projecting to this place, and it's a very special place. When they took me through these activations, I never felt anything quite like it. It's a frequency it's very gentle but powerful at the same time. So I'm excited to be able to share the rainbow frequencies with you. These are rainbow plasms, not just like the rainbow light body things that we've worked with before in the freedom teachings. So it's the next level of frequency expansion, and it has the capacity to heal and inhibit continuation of the dark flowering phenomena, both within the planetary grids and also within personal anatomy, personal multidimensional anatomy. So we will look more at that in session 3. We will look at also the ephemeral override of the 5 elemental layers of the shell of contention, which we'll be looking at also in session 3. Journey to the rainbow reservoirs of the Nomia Sunnate cathedrals. This is going to be a very interesting journey. This one will occur at the end as technique 7, and it involves some very special grid activations. That there's a very special place that connects into these into the Nomia Sunnate cathedrals, and they're the first location that connects into those that activated on Earth. We passed through on our road trip, and it was quite a remarkable place that I've never been before. And we took footage, so there is a journey that you can take, and when the grids have begun activating there, we have those frequencies on the film that we took, so you will be able to not film. I'm ancient with the DVD that we took. You'll be able to take this journey with us, and it was quite exciting. So I'm really excited about sharing that part with you because it took a bit of courage on my part, as you'll see. Activating the NOMI gene. Now this gets exciting. They're still giving me transmission on the technicals, more technicals on the NOMI gene, but we already know enough, even if there's not time to finish those for this Kddl3. There's enough where I can explain to you what it is and why it's exciting, that because of the rainbow frequencies and the rainbow reservoirs activating on the planet, this will trigger activation of the NOMI gene. And that is, that offers a gift to everyone on the planet, whether or not that's still in your DNA as junk DNA, or even if it isn't, you still have the capacity to pick up those frequencies in your plasma template. So it's pretty exciting information. Let's see. So the techniques we'll be doing after I finish this little review are the session 1 techniques. It'll be the Heart of a FEMA, Fire and Ice Quantum Amplification. And these two are long version, which means they gave them to me in writing. And when they do that, they want me to read them to you and like to clarify anything before we go into technique, where I read it and you just, listen and follow what the activations are. Because when we read them first, you get an idea of where we're going, and that makes it easier to keep up with the activations and the journeys that they're taking us on. So we have Heart of a FEMA, Fire and Ice Quantum Amplification, and Cracking the Shell of Contention, Pan Step 3 completion. So we'll complete those two. That's where we'll take the break for a half hour. And then we'll do Journey to the 5 Elemental Clearing Rooms, which we wanted to do in Kddl2, but there were certain grid activations on the planetary level corresponding to Cracking the Shell of Contention that weren't happening. So we didn't have the frequencies available yet. The Guardians were hoping that the shell of contention, or on the planetary level, it's something called the seed of contention. They were hoping there was sufficient frequency that would go on its own, but it didn't. And that's why we had to do certain activations on the road trip in order to bring these frequencies in, kind of like manually. And that's what we were able to do. So now we're able to run the Journey to the 5 Elemental Clearing Rooms. This will use the painting that's still in progress that I made and was used in Kddl2. There's 5 doorways to go in there, and it's just, the technique was one of the most powerful that I've ever experienced as far as clearing and feeling a healing frequency there. And I look forward to taking you through with that. That will be one where, for all of them, for any of the techniques, first of all, please don't do this or even listen to them while driving a car or operating heavy machinery. They should be done in a place where you have privacy and you can relax and recline comfortably, where you won't be disturbed, like phones and cell phones, all that turned off, so you can focus your attention into them. Especially with this one, because this one may take us out for a bit longer, where it takes quite a while and you may fall asleep during it. So you want to be in a safe, comfortable place if that occurs. Next one, please. Session 2. Okay. And in session 2, we're going to do our best to have that, for you tonight. It will probably take 3 or 4 hours after we finish Technique 3, the journey, to get, the preliminary information ready for you. But this is where we go into the steps of the Pan dance. Step 4, or actually we do this first. We do Expanding the Heart of Ephema and Opening the Door of Trua. We opened the doorways of Trua, the beginning of the doorways of Lila and Trua in Kddl2. This is a much more powerful activation of the Trua doorways. So we will look at we'll review a bit of what that means in relation to what we were taught in Kddl2, but we're not going to go through an extensive reiteration of Kddl2, because for a lot of you, you've already been in Kddl2, so you don't need to sit through the same thing again. So we will give enough recap on it just for the people who have no clue, who have not seen any of Kddl2, so they have an idea of what some of the main components are. So what the seals look like and those kind of things. So we'll give you a brief review of these things. Then we'll go into the session 2 techniques. This session will probably be shorter, but I could be wrong because I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know what approach they're taking to these, because these aren't in writing. These are going to be live wave run again, and I never know how long they're going to take because they haven't taken me through them yet. So first we'll do Expanding the Heart of Ephema and Opening the Door of Trua. And they've done a little bit of that with me, the expanding of the heart of Efima, and that's pretty powerful itself. And Kddl3 Pan steps 4 through 7. So we'll have step 4, flashing the seals of Kali Akshate. Step 5, Quanta Rotata, quantum standing rotation, alignment. Step 6, opening the Panikai passage and firing the Mashaya silver seed. And step 7, expedited silver seed embodiment and Quanta Ratata Merkaba activation. So we will be finishing those in session 2. Now session 3 is the big one. This is where they put all of the new information that I didn't even know was going to be in KDDL3. So we have to see that will probably be, we will do that on Sunday. And but it may be very early on Sunday your time, because we need to be done with this, like done with transmitting by noon on Sunday Norway time. So we're gonna, we will get you this program, but we may not. It may be wacky hours for you. It may be very early in the morning for you on Sunday, but it's okay, because you can watch these at your leisure anytime, whenever the time is right for you. You will still get the activations. They still come through on the playbacks as well as the live stream. So session 3, the discussion will be the Rainbow Reconnection Re-Evolution. And this is the new material where we talk about the rainbow reservoirs. We talk about the rainbow run, the 6 countries in 9 days. And boy, it was fun, but really crazy. It's a lot of movement in 9 days. We'll talk about the ephemeral override of the 5 elemental layers of the shell of contention and the Nomi gene, activating the Nomi gene. And we will also, this is where we will do the technique of projecting through to, and this is where we'll reveal the special place that we discovered on the road trip, where the grids were activating the rainbow reservoirs from the Sun 8 and Araya Earth were beginning their interface with a point on the planet that has to do with the Kddl3 grid sets, but it's not in Norway. So we'll share with you what that place is. And someday I would love to do a physical workshop there, but I don't know if it's possible or not. But anyway, we'll share with you that, and then the journey that comes with that I hope you really enjoy. And then in closing, they're going to introduce to us the beginnings of the techniques involved in manifesting through the heart of Efima. And we're going to look at the first octant cycle of the Crystal River host, which we are about halfway through right now, as far as the 8-year cycle that has to do with the first cycle of the Crystal River failsafe host. So we'll be looking at those things. And we'll be looking at the plasma seeds and ephemeral manifestation. We've looked at manifestation techniques before in terms of light body manifestation and even beginning to play with plasma manifestation. This is a different layer of bringing the desired manifestation into your plasma templates on the ephemeral layers. So they're going to teach us a bit about this. This is an introduction to it. They haven't showed me any of this yet, so we'll learn this together, whatever that's going to be. So there'll be a bit on this, and then they'll probably expand on that, my guess, in KDDL4. So that's what it looks like as far as our program. Next one, please. And I think this was the technique, isn't it? Yeah. And these are the session 3 techniques. It's actually 2 techniques. One is Journey to the Rainbow Reservoirs of the Nomia Sun 8 cathedrals with site activation link in video and stills. So there's a series of grids. There's one in that special place that I told you about that we found on the road trip. And there's also another place that was activating, the 2 other places that were activating that were connected to this. So they've had us put together an entry set of walkthrough where you're projecting through on video, and then we go into the rainbow reservoirs in the Sun 8 cathedrals. And then when we get done with the activations and things we do up there, then we come back down through the other live video links that they gave us with the frequencies when they were first coming into the grids. And in this, we will experience the activating the Nomi gene via the epigenetic overlay. Theoretically, of course. We will be overriding what's called the overriding Oz, they refer to it. And once we go through the 5 layers of the shell of contention in session 3, that will make more sense to to you. Overriding Oz, activating the ephemeral layer 3 to inhibit progression of dark flower affliction. C, we'll be building the ephemeral capsule and activating your sphere of ephema rainbow round. And D, activating your ephema rainbow ride projection vehicle. And first flight rainbow reservoir site projection. That's the first flight one. That's the end of that technique where we go into the very cool video that we shot in the place where the rainbow reservoirs first started activating. All right, and then 7, we will begin the ephemeral manifestation, plasma seeding through the heart of ephema rainbow round. So they'll show us the beginnings of how to play with that. And it's, play is a relative term. It's like how to work with it, but work should be fun, so we call it play. So that is basically what we're going to cover in the next 2 days. And whether we had 2 hours a day for 3 days or whether we have it all in 1 day, doesn't matter. We'll get you at least 6 hours. And it will be quality program as we always do our best to bring to you. Next one, please. This was our Rainbow Run grid work, 6 countries in 9 days road trip between August 28th and September 7th. And this is where on the 28th we left off with the beginning of cracking the shell of contention when we ended Kddl3. Finally, the never-ending web shop finally did come to an end. And immediately we had to drive to get the car on a ferry to begin to hook up with the road trip, or we wouldn't have made the road trip at all. So then I only counted these days in the 9. There's actually a little bit more that involved ferries. So on the 28th and through to the 29th, we were on the ferry from Oslo, Norway, to a place called Kiel, Germany, which is where the ferry came in Germany. Then on August 29th, which is a Saturday, we drove from Kiel to Munich, Germany. On August 30th, which is the Sunday after, went from Munich, Germany, through I can't even pronounce these, Grossglockner Pass to Linz, Austria. And I just put Green River there because this is where we began to see an interesting effect that I've never seen before. In the freshwater rivers that were running around there, there was this interesting green tint in the water. Just like, that's different, and it felt different. There was an interesting radiance to it. There we had lunch in, I can't even pronounce that area of Bavaria, Germany, which was near the Watzmann and Kalstein Mountains. And this was interesting only because it was near and below in the mountains range what's called Eagle Nest. The Eagle Nest grids are the place where Hitler had his summer house, and there are some very strange creepy grids in that whole area as far as during that period of history, theoretically speaking, and from what the Guardians have shared, there was a lot of occult level metaphysical things going on. And occult is not what we teach. We teach clean metaphysics. Occult metaphysics is where you're calling on things basically from the black hole at the center of the Milky Way and using them for power purposes and those kind of things. So when we passed through this area, we didn't go to the house itself. It wasn't on the trip, but we were nearby. You could feel the weirdness in the grids there. So basically our road trip was like going through the dark gardens of the ancient times, and also not too far ancient history, to begin seeding the rainbow frequencies into these areas. So on the August 30th, we'd passed through that area and had lunch beneath the Eagle's Nest Fall Grids area, which wasn't that great. And then August 31st, the next Monday, we drove from Linz, Austria, to a place called Interlaken, Switzerland, which means between two lakes. And this is where we began to see what was just a hint of green in waters. Now we were looking at aqua waters, and that was amazing. There was frequency coming out of there, and we'll talk about that when we get to session 3. Then on September 1st, that was my birthday, right? We drove from Interlaken, Switzerland, through Grimsel and Furka Pass to basically Lake Como, Italy. And Lake Como, Italy is a beautiful place to look at, but the grids are very, very questionably interesting. And we we're able to anchor a lot of the rainbow frequencies there, and we'll talk more about what that has to do about running the grids all the way down through Egypt. So beginning the run of the Rainbow River. So this is what this trip was about, and we didn't know it when we were on it. They just said, go and breathe, or here, run this here, and here, run this here. And like, okay, but what is this about? So it's only when we got back, they started to show us what this was about and about the rainbow frequencies and why we were doing this. Then we went, so that was on my birthday, to Lake Como. And then here, we turn around and start going back up. On September 2nd, we went from Lake Como to Innsbruck, Austria. And then between September 3rd and 4th, we actually spent 2 nights. We went from Innsbruck to Frankfurt, Germany. And to my absolute surprise, as soon as I got out of the car and stood on the ground in front of the hotel in Frankfurt, all of a sudden this massive activation came through. And I was like, what is that? It was a good one. It wasn't a negative feeling. So there's still things I'm learning. Like, they haven't told me exactly what that was. But it was very interesting to see the energy things that were happening on these grids that we were going through. Next one was September 5th. We went from Frankfurt to Hamburg, Germany, at a place called, I don't know if I can pronounce this one either, Lake Binnenalster in Hamburg. And that was a very beautiful place. Nothing eventful that we know of consciously happened there, but there was a reason. For some reason, we were, guided there. Then we drove on the 6th, September 6th, from Hamburg to Aalborg, Denmark. And this is where I started getting transmission lines on the Nomi gene and things about the gene codes and what was happening within some of the gene codes and how the Nomi gene was going to be a potentially healing influence and those kind of things. So it's kind of interesting, of all places, why did it start in Denmark? I have no idea. But the Guardians know. There's these grid interconnections where frequency and information is stored. And sometimes you have to go through the grids to have that open and become accessible for translating. So finally, we got back from Denmark on the 7th. We took from a place called Herstals, Denmark. We took the ferry with the car over to Kristiansand, Norway, and then drove up through back to Oslo. So, and then after that, we had from the September 8th through 8th through 17th, we were in Oslo, and I was getting pieces of the Kddl3, and then we had to do some more grid works where these were all in Norway, and they had to do with the Arayas Peninsula in Norway. So there were some grid activations in that area, and also a place that, what's it called in Norwegian? The name of this place? Vatten. Vattens Edna. Okay, which means World's End. And it's a place, a beautiful place that was also having frequency activation. So we do have some stills of that hold the frequency for that. So we were pretty busy up till the 21st, and then they were giving me more information for Kddl3. So pretty much there's not been time to do anything else. It's been like a working trip. So I'll just show you really quick on what the map looks like on what we did, and we'll look a bit more at that when we get to session 3. So we started out in Oslo, and then first we actually took a ferry, and we couldn't get it to print out on this Google Map thing, to Kiel. So this line is our coming back line. So we went from Oslo to Kiel, and then we didn't go through Hamburg that time. We went all the way from Kiel down to Munich, and then over to Linz in Austria, and then over to Interlaken in Switzerland, and down to Lake Como in Italy. And that's where we turned around and came back through Innsbruck in Austria, and went up this line through Frankfurt and through Hamburg, and then all the way up through Denmark until we got to we stayed overnight here, and then took the ferry from here in the morning to Kristiansand, Norway, and then drove the line all the way up to Oslo. So that was our 9-day journey by car, which was a fascinating experience. I must say, one of the fun things on the trip was driving through Germany on the Autobahn. There are areas of the Autobahn that have no speed limit, so everybody just goes crazy fast. And I think what did we do? What was the fastest we were able to go in that area where it was legal to go really fast? We were going 150 miles an hour down the Autobahn in Germany. It's like, wow, I must be over my PTSD at this point. Yeah, that was fun though. It was great fun. And Andreas is an amazing driver, so we were very safe. Next one, please. Okay, this one, if you had KDDL2, you've seen this one before. If not, I just want to point out, and I'm not going to go through all the KDDL2 stuff again. If you've just come in on KDDL3 and you feel lost, I do recommend, because there's a ton of technicals in that program. It is very worth getting that program. This is just basically showing us the three matrices, the Pan-Clara matrix, and our external Keylontic creation is over on this side. It's the M spectrum, and this would be the D planes, the deity planes of the Pan-Clara matrix. And then you have over here the Panicoletta matrix, which has much more quantum per frequency band than the smaller frequency Pan-Clara. And you have the Panicoletta matrix here, and then you have the large one, the there's the Panicoletta here, Panicolera here. And these are all linked together. You'll see it in the next diagram. And they actually form the FE, what we've referred to as the FE, the Eternal First Field Intelligence structure of. And this is the ELF LUV field, the ELF love field for short, which is the ELF is the equilibrium low force lowest unified velocity field. So it's actually a scientific term, but we just call it ELF love because it's easier. So the reason I'm showing you this one before we do these techniques is when we're talking about the rainbow frequencies that are coming from Sun 8 and from specifically what is called Araya Earth, which is the fulfillment of Earth's entire template that is in the Panicolera matrix. It is from this area that frequency is coming in from. And we would, when we were projecting into median Earth, the future median Earth and the median Earth deity planes, where we're projecting is into the Pan-Clara deity plane. So that would be another stage of evolution of Earth, returning to its full eternal authentic self. The final one would be when it pulls in all of its pieces from all of the matrices, and that's called Araya Earth. So these frequencies are coming in from, the rainbow frequencies are coming in from Araya Earth. They downstep through median Earth and downstep into our galaxy and into our Earth here. Next one, please. Okay, this shows it a little bit more clearly because I had them spread apart there before, the matrices, so you'd see the three different ones. This is the FE, the Eternal First Field Intelligence structure, and you have the Pan-Clara spectra, the Panicoletta spectra, and the Panicolera spectra, and this is the FE field in here. So it's in this diamond shape. The FE field is this whole thing here, and in this diamond shape is where those Sun 8 Araya Earth planes are. They're planes of manifestation of eternal life matter, and that would be the highest expression of Earth as a conscious living being entity, and also a planet that you can live on. So we're bringing frequencies in from this area with the rainbow frequencies. Before, we were just bringing them in from this side through the deity planes of the Pan-Clara. Now we're bringing them full on from the Panicolera spectra of Araya Earth. So they are the next most powerful frequencies in the what they're now calling the rainbow run of the crystal bridge. So just wanted to show you, basically what they are, especially if you haven't seen any of the KDDL2. Next one, please. Now, this is the real quick one that shows the 8 stages together, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time reiterating what was taught in KDDL2. I'll just give you enough so new people can understand a little bit of what these activations are. All right, this was the summary of the True Body Activation Stage 7B, which is Expedited Pan-Pan Dance Activation Schedule. And this is the 8 steps of the Pan-Pan Dance Earth Sync, which is basically hosting yourself home via your own ephema eternal quantum. In KDDL2, Shift Masters 2 Intro, the KDDL2, we did these steps. 1, activation of the ephema crystal silicon plasma wave, initiation of the Zephyron Aphaea cycle, and which meant restoration of the Xeon, fetal imprint body vector lockdown release, transfiguration of the Xeon into Zephyron, and the Epheron elemental clearing cycle initiation. And then we began crack point of the Epheia. We received the Epheia spark, began crack point, and cracking the shell of contention. Now, I'll just read this part here for if you're just coming in on Kddl3. I was like, what is that? Shell of contention. The shell of contention is a reverse plasma atomic crust field, an outer layer mesh on the true body skin of the Ludfar field. It is held within the body via a minute inorganic gaseous C60 carbon plasma crystal buckyball stationed in the etheric duct tip of the tailbone in the true body, and it's also in the planetary core. This is referred to as the death seed, or the seed of contention, and forms at conception due to Earth's planetary Templar plasma template distortions. So the shell of contention is actually from this seed of contention at the tailbone. There are layers of this crust-like mesh. One of them is running over the as a skin on the Ludfar fields, which are the liquid fields in the body. There's also 5 layers of this that we'll look at in session 3. And it's these 5 layers that we are going to use the ephemeral frequencies to override and progressively clear. So if that will give you an idea of what the shell of contention is if you hadn't taken Kddl2. All right, this is where we are here in Kddl3. We're going to do steps, and again, these numbers correspond with the steps of the Pan-Pan dance. There are 8 steps of the Pan-Pan dance activations. This is step 4, flashing the seals of Kali Akshate, which we will be doing these in session 2. So I won't show you those diagrams yet until we're getting ready to do them. Like, here's the seals, here's what they go, here's what they mean, here's what we're going to do, that kind of thing. So it makes more sense to people just coming in, especially, and doesn't bore everybody that's already seen it. So, all right. So flashing the seals of Kali Akshate. Step 5, Quanta quantum standing rotation alignment. Step 6, opening the Panakai passage and firing the Panclara Mashaya silver seed. Step 7, expedited silver seed embodiment and Quanta Ratada Merkaba activation. So we will do these in session 2, and this one I believe they're going to do this in Kddl4 after these activations and the other technique activations that we're bringing in Kddl3 have settled. My guess for Kddl4 is probably either sometime in December or beginning of January is my guess on it. They haven't told me when yet. So this is the basics of what we'll be doing. Next one, please. Okay, I'm going to read this one. You've heard it before if you've been in Kddl2, but it's only 1 page, and it gives some more meat on the detail for people who are just coming in Kddl3, so you know a bit more of what the shell of contention is and the seed of contention. Okay, it says true body activation stage 7B. Host boost K+8 infusion, restoration and transfiguration of the Xeon, the Epheia cycle, and releasing the fetal imprint vector lockdown. Now, why this is important for people coming in on Kddl3, especially if you haven't been in Kddl2, these things that they're talking about taking place here, they will begin to occur with the activations that you're doing in Kddl3. So you won't be left behind if you didn't do the techniques from Kddl2, but if you do choose to go back and do the techniques from Kddl2, the activations will be stronger and the activations will expedite more quickly in your field, so it's up to you. But you won't be missing out, but at least you'll have an idea of some of the things that people in Kddl2 have already begun the process of, and what will also be triggered into activation should you choose to do the techniques in Kddl3. So, in hosted Crystal Bridge Passage, which is what the Pan-Pan dance is, in hosted Crystal Bridge Passage, restoration and transfiguration of the Xeon, which is restoring the organic eternal quantum of the Xeon birth quantum, and transfiguration of the Xeon into the Zephyron, can be expedited to override plasma template mutation via hosted quantum boost, an infusion of 5th round true of flows K+8 Panacolera spectra frequency from the Epheia, ELF, LUV fields, which will initiate, progress, and sustain the Zephyron elemental clearing Epheia cycle of atomic Vabhati vector lockdown release. Now, if you're not familiar with what the term Vibhati means, it refers to the donated parental quantum cell that when egg and sperm come together, the first quantum of the new life isn't from your new identity incarnating in. It's actually a donated quantum of energy that locks you into the space-time vector that you're birthing into before you actually enter in fetal integration, before you bring your consciousness and your own energy into it. So when we talk about the Vibhati vector lockdown release, it means releasing the space-time vector lockdown that's on the Vibhati cell that was your donated parental quantum from when you were conceived. And when the vector lockdown is released, it progressively will release the time vector lockdown of the atomic structure in the physical body. Because what keeps us locked in, where we are stuck here physically, once you incarnate here, the only way out in contemporary times seems to be you have to die your body out, where once your quantum depletes enough, your body gets old, it dies, or unless you have other ways that you go out, like accidents and things. But most people these days aren't able to go walk through a gate and transfigure their atomic structure. And it's because of the vector lockdown from the Vibhati cell, and that encodes itself within all of the atomic structure. So these processes in cracking the shell of contention are beginning the process of releasing that Vibhati lockdown, which means releasing the time vector lockdown of the atomic structure to the space-time continuum, which means once that would be fully completed, which doesn't happen immediately, it goes in waves over years, but once that occurred, you would be able to biologically go through gates into other space-time locations. So that is the norm. That is what's normal for the angelic human species. We were never meant to be entrapped here or vector locked into this time frame. We were meant to come in, accrete frequency, and accrete our consciousness in until the age of 33, at which point we would be able to fully release the vector lockdown and go to the next density up. So we are fighting a mutation here, a very, very ancient one on this planet. And part of it is cracking the shell of contention and beginning release of the vector lockdown on the atomic structure. So once initiated through the host K+8 infusion, host boost K+8 infusion, the Zephyron Epheus cycle rapidly reaches a certain point of elemental clearing called crack point, at which a critical quantum, 1/3, of atoms has been freed from Vibhati vector lockdown and returned to eternal authentic encryption. The host boost K+8 infusion restores and transfigures the Xeon into the Zephyron, which will happen automatically, and I think it's step 1 or 2, technique 1 or 2 does this if you haven't done this before in the Kddl3, and releases the fetal imprint for body vector lockdown on 1/3 of the atomic quantum, triggering crack point, initiating a process referred to as cracking the shell of contention. This crack point was what the planetary grids were having a problem with. We started to get a little bit of that occurring, but not a full crack point where the next phase of the activations and clearing could happen. And that's why they had to kind of manually drop little frequency packages of the rainbow frequency into the old world dark garden grids, seeding the dark gardens with the rainbows, in order to assist that process of cracking hitting the crack point for cracking the shell of contention. And here is where it explains a little bit about it. The shell of contention refers to a thin crystallized crust of reverse polarity elemental plasma that creates an inorganic barrier between the true body and atomic body structures. It entraps a portion of the true body quantum in reverse polarity elemental bonding, keeping the atomic body in vector lockdown. Whereas the true body is like an energetic skin surrounding the Ludfar liquids field, the shell of contention is as an inorganic energetic crust or shell layered on top of the true body skin. Organic true body plasmas form organically around the Ludfar fields of all atoms. Hence, the inorganic shell of contention crust also forms as a vector lock shell around all atoms, holding the atoms hostage to the original Vibhati vector lock encryption of the fetal imprint. The shell of contention, plasma crust field, is held within the body by a minute inorganic gaseous C60 carbon plasma crystal buckyball stationed in the etheric duct at the tip of the tailbone in the true body, also in the planetary core, and I've read this part before on the other page. This is referred to as the death seed or the seed of contention and forms at conception due to Earth's planetary Templar plasma template distortions. The spark of Aphea. Now, this was part of the things that were accomplished in Kddl2. We did receive the spark of Aphea, so that will happen automatically when we do techniques 1 and 2 in Kddl3. Spark of Aphea. Following the host boost K+8 infusion and crack point of the Zephyron elemental clearing Aphea cycle, the Zephyron at the Azare releases a triptych spark called the spark of Aphea. It's composed of one intra-blue ice unit, one infra-pink fire unit, and one intraviolet plasma unit into the death seed of contention in the true body tailbone etheric duct. The Aphea spark cracks the death seed and begins pulsing frequency throughout the shell of contention atomic crust. The blue ice frequency first freezes or ices the crust and makes it brittle and fragile. Next, the pink fire frequency blasts, cracks, and begins melting the crust, followed by the intraviolet frequency vaporizing the crust as its fragments melt. So that is the process by which the seed of contention and shell of contention progressively, clears and releases from the body. And this is what they needed to bring more frequency, and they needed to bring the rainbow frequencies in to give it a frequency boost, because on the planetary level it wasn't fulfilling the crack point, so the rest of this could occur. So the techniques 1 and 2, we get if you had done these techniques in Kddl2, it would have gone so far. And some people, I think I've heard, have felt the fizz in the tailbone when the seed of contention releases. Some people's will. Some people's it would take longer. Sometimes you would feel like part of it released, but not the whole thing. When we do techniques 1 and 2 in Kddl3, that will clear that, because it's giving the quantum boost of the rainbow plasma frequencies behind it. All right, Seeds of Freedom, simultaneous triptych power phase awakening. Okay, this is where and for people who haven't had Kddl2, when we talk about the Seeds of Freedom, we'll review a little bit of that when we go into session 2, because that's when we're going to activate the silver seed and those kind of things, so you understand a bit more what they are. All right. After this first cracking, the shell of contention progressively releases in layers over time, following initiation of the true flows, simultaneous activation of the silver, golden, silver, and platinum seeds of freedom, and all these things were talked about, more in depth in Kddl2. So if you don't know what these things are because you haven't watched Kddl2, either just roll with it with us, or check out Kddl2. We'll have it available as soon as we can, for as a product. So we'll do when they say simultaneous activation of the silver, golden, silver, and platinum seeds of freedom, instead of it taking many thousands of years, this is what they're referring to as simultaneous, where normally it would take many thousands of years, these are going to happen in a rapid succession, where we began the initiation of the silver seed activations in Kddl2. We will actually have expedited silver seed embodiment, or the silver seed embodies in the tailbone in Kddl3. The next set will be in Kddl4, where we get embodiment of the golden silver seed, and then I have to see where they're going to do the platinum seed activations. We'll review a little bit more of what those seed things look like in relation to the seals and that when we get to session 2 for people who haven't seen Kddl2. Okay. Through the triptych power phase awakening, the 5 rounds of true flow accretion and corresponding Merkaba activations progressively and simultaneously unfold through the host boost K+8 infusion. When the seeds of freedom, which is the seeds of freedom, are those 3 seeds combined, the silver, the golden silver, and the platinum seeds. The 3 of those are considered the seeds of freedom. When the seeds of freedom triptych awakening cycles and Zephyron elemental clearing Aphea cycle complete, the hosted deity point is reached, which is the point at which all atomic quantum has been freed from the Vibhati lockdown and returned to eternal authentic encryption. And then stage 8, true body activation, which is called immaculation of the deity, engages the final transfiguration into vector-free, emancipated eternal life form. So these things would happen later. And like stage 8, we're just getting through the necessarily expedited activation of the silver, gold, and silver and platinum seeds of freedom, and opening the seals and the Kali Akshate seals, and doing the Quanta Ratata alignment. And we had to do this. All of this was it had to make a 12-year jump. We had to do it 12 years early because of certain things that were happening in the planetary grids that had to do with the dark flowering in the planetary grids. So we're up to speed, and we don't have to, it's not, the dark flowering thing doesn't have to be perceived as scary. We've got the rainbow frequencies running. It kept us on our toes there for a while, because that's why we had the almost never-ending web shop with Kddl2, because all of these planetary events came in when we had just started Kddl2. So we're right on schedule with the frequency activation, so it's all good news. It just was a lot to catch up with really fast. It was 12 years of material, basically done in 4 months. So, and now we're at Kddl3. Next one, please. Okay, I'm not going to read all of this. This is just going back over the, cracking the shell of contention things. And these are the steps. We did step 3, cracking the shell of contention, first cracking. And we did this through projection. And these are the actions that were involved in it. We're going to get the next level of that as we complete the cracking the shell of contention with the rainbow frequencies involved. So I don't really have to read all of that. All of this was read in Kddl2, and in a much larger context of how all the pieces fit together. Next one, please. This one's important, especially if you're new for Kddl3. It's basically showing you the basics of anatomy. It's showing the body cell, the Xeon, which becomes transfigured into the Zephyron. The Xeon is the birth quantum unit that we have when we do fetal integration into our baby body, basically, before we are born. And we get a quantum of energy called the Xeon. We've covered this in Kddl2. Death occurs, a natural death occurs here when the Xeon quantum becomes depleted and can no longer sustain the processes, the cellular processes of the body. In the activations that we're doing with the 8 stages of true body activation and the 8 steps of the Pan dance, the Xeon unit becomes transfigured into what's referred to as the Zephyron unit, which is the deity birth quantum. So it's the beginning of the birth of your form as a deity, a being that's composed of the frequencies, the eternal life frequencies of the deity planes. So your Xeon becomes transfigured into a Zephyron. If you did Kddl2, you've already gone through that stage. If you haven't, that occurs in the steps, techniques 1 and 2 of Kddl3, so you don't have to worry that you didn't catch up with it. All right, so this shows you where things are. Your Xeon, which becomes your Zephyron, if you haven't already had that, is at the base of the thymus in the Azare, what is called the Azare. Your Vibody cell is back there at the tailbone etheric duct, and the what's called the heart of ephema point. This one's important because in Kddl2, we began the process of activation of the heart of ephema. If you haven't done that, again, it will trigger into activation through techniques 1 and 2, and we'll go beyond that because we're also going to expand that and bring in what's called the rainbow crystal. So this area is right about here. If you have chakra 3, about there, and chakra 4, about there. It's the space, it's the point right in between them. It's like halfway between chakra 3 and chakra 4. So you have chakra 4 and chakra 3. It's like halfway between them, right around in there. So this is the point that we're going to be using for various stages of the techniques and activations that are taking place. And it's also the point where later in session 3, your rainbow ride projection vehicle will be anchored on. So it's just important to know those. One of the things also that is important, and we began teaching this quite a while back at the end of the Freedom Teachings with the Sliders series, when we started teaching about the lotus anatomy, or the part of the plasma body of anatomy that's called the lotus anatomy. And they're literally, they look like flowers, basically like plants. It's part of the plasma body, and they are receptors and receivers, and they hold the configuration of lotuses. A lot of the ancient Hindu paintings and drawings, and some of the Buddhists as well, would show the chakras, and they would show flowers in them with varying different amounts of petals. They weren't being just symbolic in that regard. There is a layer of the true body anatomy and the plasma body anatomy that has this configuration in the chakras. And actually, each one of them looks like this, where it's a 6-point. So if you see one, say if it's at, this one's at, let's see, say this is chakra 4. So you'd have one that faces outward, but that would imply you have one that faces backward, out that way. You'd have one that faces this way, one that faces that way, left and right, and then you'd have one that faces up and one that faces down. So each chakra actually has a configuration of these petals, and they're receiving on broadcast stations within the plasma body anatomy that, circulate energy, basically. So they would kind of link, their top and bottom ones link like this through the central vertical column. So you can't see that in this one, you're just seeing the front views in this one. But the front view implies that there's one in back that sticks out face and back, and there's two that stick out left, right, and there's one that goes up and connects to the bottom part of the one above it, and one that goes down that connects to the the top part of the one underneath it, if there's one underneath it. So we have, this would be our base chakra, we have one that comes down there, but that implies it also has parts that go up there and comes out the side. So it just gives you an idea, and I wanted to come back to this because when we do technique 3, these come into play where we're going to go through the 5 elemental clearing rooms. And as we do this, we are going to be using and actually clearing stuff off of this anatomy. Some people will find that that anatomy isn't awake at all. If you've been working with the Tantra Yoga teachings or the sliders from the freedom teachings, you would have some degree of plasma body activation with the lotuses. If they're not, they would look like little buds that aren't opened yet. And they will open through the processes of technique 3. And what is the most important thing is we'll be able to learn the process of cleaning them, because the planet has been running the dark flowering currents for a while now, and everybody's fields and plasma body pick up part of that. So part of healing and clearing your multidimensional anatomy and your plasma body is being able to and being aware that you need to clear the lotus structures off, because sometimes you'll look at them and go, ew, it's all black and it looks like tar. You need to pull that stuff out or push that stuff out with frequency, because that's not what they're supposed to look like. They glow different colors. They actually are all kind of heliochroic effect like this. I don't know if they can see that over here. Yeah, like the flame frequencies, the colors in those flames. And they will also hold a base like radiant hue of the color corresponding to that chakra, which is its dimensional affiliation. And they're supposed to be bright and shiny and happy looking, not icky and dark. And sometimes you'll see the dark stuff in them. And that just means they need to be cleared because they've been picking up stuff from the planetary grids. So the technique 3 is cool because it takes you in to where you can start to do that. And there are ways, once you learn how to do that with the long run technique, you can kind of go, if you kind of get up in the morning and go, ew, I feel icky, and you don't have time to go looking at stuff and doing an hour technique, you can go, okay, which element does my body need, right? Is it, is it fire? Is it the crystal? Is it the water? Is it the air? Or is it the vapor? And you can kind of get a feel. Okay, say it's the fire clearing. So you just go through with the fire technique that you'll learn in the technique 3, and just really quick, just blast it through the chakras or whatever area of your body feels most ucky and yucky. So this is very practical. Once we go through the technique 3, you can take pieces of that and just use it really fast to shift energy and to clear stuff for yourself. So I wanted you to remember, people who have done the freedom teachings before and stuff, I wanted to bring back the memory of these are important. These are still part of our plasma body anatomy, and we will be using, the frequencies that we're bringing in to clear these progressively. There's also really neat things you can learn to do with these. You can extend them and go, use them to go, they have stems that you can stretch. They can go way out into space and bring in information and those kind of things. So that's not in this workshop, but it's a very interesting part of your anatomy. So hopefully you'll be able to begin to feel it and its presence there. Because once you start to feel it, it's really like, wow, I'm part plant. You almost feel like you're all, part plant as well as in a human body, that's part of your anatomy. And they're very special. There's a lot of things that later on in the teachings they will teach us how to do with them. But for now, getting them clean is important because they circulate energy through the plasma body structure, just like the chakras circulate energy through the light body structure and the physical body structure. Next one, please. I love this picture. This was so sweet. As I'd mentioned, that my birthday was September 1st, and during Kddl3, and some very nice lady named Lena had sent just a little like happy birthday to you, and she sent this picture, and I'm putting it up because it's perfect. It gives the perfect image for our starting image, our cue image for the techniques we're going into. All right, but she said, I found this old picture of you. Right, and I just broke into a chuckle. I was like, yeah, absolutely. That applies to all of us, by the way. So thank you, Lena, if you're out there, for sending this. There was just a perfect sentiment and a perfect visual. And, this is an old picture of all of us, except, you might be a different color or a different shape, but remember that we are stars and like the eternal kind. So this image, you can use whatever color you want with it. You don't have to see it as like, star with blue, but it gives you a starting image for the technique that techniques 1 and 2 that we're going to go through. So I just want you to see that and like keep in mind when I talk about, I think they call it the FE home star light, something like that. It's in the techniques. They just gave me the long written on that, so I can't remember exactly because they moved the terminology a bit, and you'll see what I'm referring to when I start reading the technique to you. But if you can hold an image like that and make it whatever color you want, whatever feels right to you, but that's a good starting image. They call them cueing images, where it gives your mind a cue to begin its own visualization. And you'll find some of those in session 3 as well, where they're giving us some visual cues to take it from there to really bring in the experience of frequencies that we're working with. All right, next one, please. Do I have something after that? What's this one? Okay. All right, yeah, I guess I'll read all of this. I think I'm going to read this off the paper. It's easier. I'll sit down. This is just, there's a bunch of them, and it's just the same thing that's on the paper, which are the steps to these techniques. So I'm going to read them to you because there's not any picture to show you or anything with those, except for that star image. So keep that in mind. I will sit down now, and I will read these to you, and then we will actually do them. But I want to read them to you first so you see where you're going to go, because it's easier to follow once we get into the wave of the technique if you have an idea of where we're going. I appreciate that too when they do that. And it takes a long time sometimes to get these down in writing. Let me find it. I have it here somewhere. There we go. If you want, we can just put that one back up. Thanks. Okay. Now, technique 1 has 9 steps. All right. Technique 1 is called Heart of Ephema, Fire and Ice, Quantum Amplification. And it's also Expedited Xeon to Zephyron Transfiguration for people who didn't do Kddl2, and Heart of Ephema Activation for new people. All right. So we're going to in this, and again, we don't have to do this yet. I'm just letting you know what we're going to do once we go into wave. All right, reading the steps. All right, we're going to start with, they call it the home star image. All right, so something like that. Make it whatever color you want, or if you want to have more rays, you can do that too, but it's a good starting image. So step 1 is to visualize your home star image several feet out in front of you, as if it is up in the sky in front of you. So you'd be kind of like it's up there, right? All right. Then breathe the light of the home star towards you. So if you're seeing it up there, you're breathing the light of it towards you. And feel its gentle warmth cascading over your physical body. Now I'm reading these faster. I will read them slower when we go into wave, because we're meant to slow the consciousness down and slow the wave so you can begin to feel these things. So I'm just reading it quicker now because it's just the review. And then, when we get to that point where you can feel that gentle warmth cascading over you, we're going to use the mental affirmation command that I see the home light of Effie now, as you breathe the light of the home star towards you. Step 2 is, they say, continue breathing the light of the home star, the light of Effie, towards you, and sense that it begins to sink through your skin into your plasma trua body within your physical body. So it starts to sink in. You can start to feel it in your trua body that's inside, still inside your physical body. And they say, notice that the home light of Effie begins entering your trua body. As it begins entering your true body, that a pale white vortex begins to emanate from the home star. So vortex starts to come down. A singular, its singular tip, the tip on top, stationed within the home star center point, and its vortex extending downward toward your body until the wide end of this vortex surrounds your physical body. And ideally, this one will be done laying down. So you're seeing it up there, and it's coming down until it surrounds this white vortex from the home star, the Fe star, surrounds your physical body. As if looking upward from within the base of this vortex, observe the home light of Fe at the vortex tip growing brighter and intensifying. So now you're laying down and you have this vortex there, and you're looking up through the vortex at the home light of Fe and watching it get more concentrated and intense up in the top point of the vortex that's connected to the Fe star. Okay, and here we're going to use the mental affirmation command. I am embraced by the home light of Fe now. And then we continue gently breathing the home light of Fe towards you and into your true body. Step 3 is, as you rest within the base of the home star vortex, begin breathing a current of pale aqua ether vapor light from the center point of the Fe home star above you, directly into your Xeon or Zephyron unit. Now, you'll have a Zephyron unit there if you did the techniques from Kddl3. It will be the Xeon unit still if you haven't done those yet, but it will get transfigured into a Zephyron soon. So, okay, so we're going to begin breathing a current of pale aqua ether vapor light from the center point of the Fe home star above you directly into your Xeon or Zephyron within your Azray, at the base of the thymus gland. And they say, notice as the pale aqua, which is the 5th round true flows, ether vapor light fills your Xeon or Zephyron, the Xeon Zephyron unit begins to pulse, expand, then pop, as its quantum amplifies through this home light of Fe infusion. And here it says, and this part I won't read when we're doing the technique, because this is just saying if you have done the techniques from Kddl3, it means this. If you haven't, it means that. So I'll read that to you now, but I won't read that as I'm reading the flow of the technique when we're doing it. So here it says, if you have already engaged Zephyron transfiguration via Kddl2 techniques, this home light of Fe infusion will amplify the quantum charge within your Zephyron. If you have not yet engaged Zephyron transfiguration via Kddl2 techniques, this home light of Fe infusion will automatically engage subharmonic Xeon transfiguration into Zephyron and begin release of the fetal imprint Vibody vector lockdown in the tailbone. All right, next, and this is for everybody, we're back into steps. It's still part of steps 3, the end of step 3. As you sense or imagine this quantum fill pop point in the Azray, expand your breathing of the pale aqua ether vapor current from the Fe home star above you, drawing the pale aqua current into your entire physical and true body. So instead of just bringing that current of pale aqua into your Xeon or Zephyron, your Azray, you'll bring it into your whole body and your true body. Okay. Filling your physical and true body with the pale aqua home light of Fe current. And as you fill your whole body and true body with the pale aqua current, we're going to use the mental affirmation command. The home light of Fe fully fills me now. I am fulfilled in the home light of Fe. As you continue to gently breathe the pale aqua current of the home light of Effie into and through your physical and true body. Step 4 of Technique 1. Keeping awareness of the pale white vortex connecting you to the Effie home star, continue breathing in the pale aqua ether vapor light from the center point of the Effie home star above you. As you breathe, begin to notice that within your physical body, your plasma trua body seems to be growing lighter and lighter in weight and substance. Use each inhale breath to draw in more pale aqua current. Then begin using each exhale breath to gently push your trua body upward. So if you're laying down, you start using the exhales to push your trua body up out of your physical body and into that vortex, going upward toward the home star of Effie. So you're going to use the exhale breath to gently push your trua body upward out of your physical body and into the pale white vortex. Breathe gently as you float your plasma trua body upward, using the exhales as the push within the pale white vortex until it passes through the vortex tip and directly into the center point of the Effie home star. Once you are there, you'll use the command, the mental affirmation command, I am one with the home light of Effie now. And just continue breathing gently. Step 5 says, with your focus of attention within your trua body that's now stationed in the center of the Effie home star, breathe gently and slowly and notice that you are surrounded by a beautiful pearlescent white light with aqua sparkles flickering through it. From this eternal place of great peace, wisdom, and power, within the heart of the Effie home star, you may call upon the eternal elf love, pink fire, and blue ice frequencies to activate or quantum amplify and expand your heart of Ephema point within your trua and physical bodies. When you begin this process, you'll use the mental affirmation command, I am filled with the home fires of Effie now, and continue breathing. So in that one, we get our trua bodies up into the center, into the heart of the Effie home star, and we'll notice that we're surrounded by beautiful pearlescent white light with aqua sparkles flickering through. And when we get up there, we'll try to feel they describe it as a place of eternal great peace, wisdom, and power. Just try to feel that a little bit once we get out there in the technique. And from there, we call upon the frequencies of the pink fire and blue ice to activate or amplify and expand our heart of Ephema point. So we'll use the I am filled with the home fires of Effie now. And then we go to step 6, which is, once you have given the mental affirmation command to the home fires of Effie, notice that a current of blue ice frequency begins to stream from the center point of the Effie home star around you. So you're up there in the Effie home star, but now notice there's a blue ice frequency beginning to come from the center point that you're laying in, basically. The blue ice current emerges from the Effie center, moving, and it comes and moves downward through your chakra 7 at the top of your head. And again, you'll be laying down. So it comes and it moves down through chakra 7 at the top of your head, then moves further downward into your heart of Ephema point within your trua body, filling your Ephema heart with the blue ice quantum. And here they're saying, sense the pleasantly cool presence of the blue ice current filling your heart of Ephema. They're saying, next notice that a current of pink fire frequency begins to stream from the center point of the Effie home star around you, because you're inside the home star with your true body. The pink fire current emerges from the Effie center, moving upward through your base chakra, which comes down like a triangle here and is connected up into your body up in here. Okay, so the pink fire current emerges from the Effie center, moving upward through chakra 1, base chakra, then moves further upward to join the blue ice current within your trua body heart of Ephema point. And they said, sense the gently warm presence of the pink fire current as it interfaces with the cool blue ice current in your heart of Ephema. And just continue breathing gently. And again, I will read these more slowly to try to get us into state, because sometimes when you slow it down, like they had me do when I was reading the Journey to the Ephea state, it really brings the frequencies in more. And so I will read it more slowly. Right now I'm just trying to get us through. We can do it. Step 7 says, focus your attention upon your true body heart of Ephema within the center point of the Ephi home star, because you're still laying up there in the center of the Ephi home star. And notice that as the blue ice and pink fire currents interface here, the two currents progressively transfigure into a pale intraviolet singing vapor wave quantum. So the pink and blue turn into a pale violet, but it's the positive violet, the organic violet, not the reverse violet currents that some of the fall stuff is running on. Okay, it's called intraviolet, and the intraviolet singing vapor wave. Breathe gently as your heart of Ephema fills with intraviolet vapor wave quantum, and notice that as this quantum increases, your heart of Ephema point pops to become a sphere of Ephi home starlight, filled with violet vapor quantum, and containing a minute chi-wave rainbow crystal at its core. At first, this Ephi home star sphere is about the size of a tennis ball. Okay, so what that is saying is we've brought in the blue ice currents, we've brought in the pink fire currents into the Ephema heart, and they come together and transfigure into the pale intraviolet singing vapor wave frequencies. And as you're breathing these, the Ephema point pops, it becomes bigger, and it pops in to become a sphere of Ephi home star light. So that home star that's around you, the pearlescent white, it begins to fill your heart of Ephema as well. And at the center of it, there is a tiny chi-wave rainbow crystal. So it's a little rainbow crystal, and the rainbow color is very similar to the rainbow colors, the heliochroic rainbow colors that are. This is the closest I've seen to demonstrate them that are in the sculptures of the flames that we use as symbols for the flame of Elesa. So they're those color frequencies. They're like a pastel rainbow. So at this point we still have our heart of Ephema, but it has popped to become more frequency to it, and it's about the size of a tennis ball. And it becomes the sphere of Ephi home starlight with the pearlescent white in it, but also with the pale violet vapor quantum running through it as well. And at its center, the chi-wave rainbow crystal right in the core of it. Okay, and here again, this part I won't read except for now, because it's saying if you did if you had the Kddl3 and if you didn't have the Kddl2. So here it's saying, if you have already engaged Ephema heart activation via Kddl2 techniques, your already activated Ephema heart will now pop to become an Ephi home star sphere with rainbow crystal at its core, and will receive quantum boost amplification. If you have not yet engaged Ephema heart activation via Kddl2 techniques, your heart of Ephema will now be brought into activation. It will pop to become an Ephi home star sphere with rainbow crystal at its core, and you will receive your first quantum boost. So there's 2 more steps to this one. Step 8. Sense the presence of your Ephema heart, Ephi home star sphere, right there, noticing that it is approximately the size of a tennis ball, positioned in the central vertical column. That's that column of energy that runs down the center, inside center of you. Positioned in the central vertical column at the center point between chakra 3, solar plexus, and chakra 4, heart. So it's right there at the heart of Ephema point. Now they're saying inhale deeply into the Ephema heart, drawing in more pale aqua ether vapor light from the Ephi home star around you. So just draw, it doesn't matter what direction because you're in the star. So just draw the aqua ether vapor light into the ephema heart. And then merge that aqua light with the pale intraviolet vapor current that's within the heart of ephema. So you're bringing in the aqua light, holding it there with the pale violet light or vapor, and hold at the top of the inhale to increase current flow quantum. And then we're going to exhale firmly, using the exhale breath to expand the heart of ephema, Fe home star sphere outward. So you're going to go expand the whole sphere outward. You still have the crystal at the center, but you're expanding the size of the sphere, expanding its size from the inside, pushing outward. So you're breathing from the inside of it and going, expanding it like a balloon, but you're in the inside, blowing it up, right? Until it expands to approximately the size of a small melon, like a cantaloupe. So that'd be about that big. Okay. Sense the presence of your expanded heart of ephema in your true body, feeling a sensation as if it is expanding your rib cage and lungs. And I felt this, and it's funny, before they gave me the technique, it must have started to happen in my biology, or they triggered it, because all of a sudden I woke up the one day and it felt bigger, because I could feel my heart of ephema like tennis ball size before, and then all of a sudden it was big, and it felt like it was pushing my rib cage and my lungs apart, but it's not really doing that physically, but it was just a strange, not unpleasant, but strange feeling, like, wow, it really expanded there somehow. So I don't know if you'll get that sensation, but I ended up with a sensation first, and then like the next day they gave me the written version of the technique. So it's like, oh, okay, that was supposed to happen. Okay, so we're sensing, feeling the sensation as if the expanded heart of ephema, Fe home star sphere, is expanding the rib cage and lungs a bit. And then step 9 of technique 1. Once you can sense your ephema heart, Fe home star sphere expansion, return your attention to the pale white vortex that your true body traveled up through to enter the center point of the Fe home star. So remember, you're up there at this point in your true body doing these breathing things up there, and it's like, remember how we got, where are we? We're inside the star, and remember, we're at the tip point of that white vortex, and now it's time to begin to come back down the vortex. All right, so it says, once you feel that expansion, return your attention to the pale white vortex that your true body had traveled up through to enter the center point of the Fe home star. They said, sense that you are currently positioned at the top side tip of the vortex, at the center of the Fe home star, and that you now will begin your true body descent back downward through the pale white vortex and into your physical body. Inhale gently into your heart of ephema, Fe home star sphere. Hold at the top of the inhale to build quantum thrust. Then in one firm exhale breath, push your true body firmly but gently downward through the pale white vortex. So you inhale, and you're still up there, right? And then you and you push yourself right back down the white vortex and back into your true body, back into your physical body. And then once you push your true body back into your physical body, you'll be aligning the ephema hearts of your true body with the physical body ephema heart. So you kind of feel out that they're in register with each other, where they're in the same place. It says, when your heart of ephema, which is now also your Fe home star sphere, activated true body has returned to your physical body, you are ready to engage Kddl3 technique 2, cracking the shell of contention, pan step 3 completion. Now that one has how many steps? That one has 17 steps. So I think what I will do, because if I try to read all of those, everybody's going to glaze, including me. So we'll go through the technique 1 first. We'll actually run that first, then come back out, and I will read you probably a bit more slowly the steps that we're going to go through in technique 2, and then we'll go right into technique 2, because these are meant to do them back to back, but they're saying it would be better to do the reading in between, just read it a little more slowly. So we'll do now the live run on technique 1. And again, anybody out there that doesn't want to participate, there's no obligation to participate. But if you would like to, you're very welcome to join. It applies to any of the techniques that we ever do. Completely free will choice, no pressure whatsoever. So we will go into this, and I'm wondering if I should lay down for this. Sometimes when I lay down, it allows a larger wave to run. And sometimes they tell me to lay down, sometimes they don't. And they're saying I can do either or. This time it doesn't matter. I think I might sit down. I'm feeling I want to have myself more grounded or something. On the floor. There. Am I still in here? Am I still in frame? Yeah. No, I think I'm good for this one. Okay. Yeah, we can leave that up because that's the image, the starting image. Is that a problem? That's in the way? Can I move over this way? Is that better? Okay, and again, as with most of the techniques, if you can get yourself in a comfortable, private place, safe and comfortable where you won't be disturbed. If you can, lower the lights a bit, because sometimes it's easier to see inner visualizations when you have when you have a lower lighting, so you have less 3D distraction. And again, there is the home start image. That is just a base image to start with. You can elaborate on that in any way you'd like to whatever feels like the image that would be your FE home star. And it would be the same star, your connection with the eternal FE field, the eternal first field intelligence. So whatever star image you want to use for that, you can. But that's a good beginning point. And thank you again, Lena, for sending that. Okay. Now begin breathing gently and relax your body and slow your breathing just a little. Feel the tension vibrating gently downward through your body and out your back if you're laying on your back. Feel it just vibrating gently in your body, whatever tension is in your body. Inhale and hold for a moment to catch it. And then exhale gently and feel all the tension. Just leave your body. So are you ready to begin a journey? Visualize the home star image, several feet out in front of you, as if it is up in the sky in front of you. Breathe the light of the home star towards you and feel its gentle warmth cascading over your physical body. Take several breaths of that. See the home star and breathe its light. Inhale the light from the home star towards you and feel its gentle warmth cascading over your physical body. When you begin to feel that sensation of every breath that you're taking, every inhale is bringing more of that light to you. More of it cascading gentle warmth across your physical body. Then use the mental affirmation command. I see the home light of Effie now. I see the home light of Effie now. As you breathe the light of the home star towards you, I see the home light of Effie now. Step 2. Continue breathing the light of the home star, the light of Effie, toward you, and sense that it begins to sink through your skin into your plasma trua body that's within your physical body. Continue breathing the light of Effie toward you and feel it sinking into your skin and through your skin into your plasma body, into your trua body. Notice as the home light of Effie begins entering your trua body that a pale white vortex begins to emanate from the home star. Its singular tip is stationed within the home star center point, and its vortex is extending downward towards your body until the wide end of the vortex surrounds your physical body. As if looking upward from within the base of this vortex, observe the home light of Effie at the tip of the vortex. Observe as it grows brighter and it's more intensifying. When you sense and see that growing brighter and intensifying of the home light of Effie at the tip of the vortex, use the mental affirmation command, I am embraced by the home light of Effie now. Continue gentle breathing. I am embraced by the home light of Effie now. Continue breathing the light into your skin and into your true body. And once more, I am embraced by the home light of Effie now. Step 3. As you rest within the base of the home star vortex, begin breathing a current of pale aqua ether vapor light from the center point of the Effie home star above you. Breathe the pale aqua ether vapor light directly from the home star into your Xeon or Zephron unit within your Azure. Take several breaths, breathing the aqua vapor light, ether vapor light into your Xeon or Zephron unit, the Azure. Notice as the pale aqua ether vapor light fills your Xeon or Zephron, that the Xeon and Zephron unit begins to pulse. Every time you breathe, you're bringing more of the pale aqua vapor light in. And it's filling the Xeon and Zephron unit. And it's beginning to pulse and then expand. It expands and then it pops as its quantum amplifies through this home light of Effie infusion. As you sense or imagine this quantum fill pop point in the Azure, expand your breathing of the pale aqua ether vapor current from the Effie home star above you, drawing the pale aqua current into your entire physical and true bodies, filling your physical and true body with the pale aqua home light of Effie current. So continue to breathe and inhale the pale aqua light, the aqua vapor light, and inhale it now through your entire body, through your true body. Every inhale brings it in, every exhale expands it through your physical body, through the spaces between your atoms, through your true body. Once you sense a quantum of the pale ether vapor light building within your true body and your plasma body, use the mental affirmation command, the home light of Effie fully fills me now. I am fulfilled in the home light of Effie. Continue gently breathing the pale aqua currents. Again, the home light of Effie fully fills me now. I am fulfilled in the home light of Effie. And once more. The home light of Effie fully fills me now. I am fulfilled in the home light of Effie. Step 4. Keeping awareness of the pale white vortex that is connecting you to the Effie home star. Continue breathing in the pale aqua ether vapor light from the center point of the Effie home star above you. Excuse me. As you breathe, begin to notice that within your physical body, your plasma trua body seems to be growing lighter and lighter in weight and substance. Continue breathing and use each inhale breath to draw in more pale aqua current. Then begin to use each exhale breath to gently push your trua body upward out of your physical body and into the pale white vortex. Breathe gently as you float your plasma body upward within the pale white vortex. Inhale, bring in pale aqua current. Exhale, push and float your true plasma body upward through the pale white vortex until it passes through the vortex tip and directly into the center point of the Effie home star. Feel yourself in true body, reclining in the center of the Effie home star. When you sense yourself there, use the mental affirmation command, I am one with the home light of Effie now. I am one with the home light of Effie now. Continue breathing gently. I am one with the home light of Effie now. Pardon? Step 5. With your focus of attention within your true body, stationed at the center of the Effie home star, breathe gently and slowly, and notice that you are surrounded by a beautiful pearlescent white light with aqua sparkles flickering through it. From this eternal place of great peace, wisdom, and power, within the heart of the Effie home star, you may call upon the eternal elf love, pink fire, and blue ice frequencies to activate or quantum amplify and expand your heart of Ephema point within your trua and physical bodies. Breathe gently and slowly. Sense the pearlescent white light all around you with the aqua sparkles flickering through. And call upon the eternal fires of the pink fire and blue ice frequencies. Use the mental affirmation command, I am filled with the home fires of Effie now. Continue breathing gently. I am filled with the home fires of Effie now. And once more. I am filled with the home fires of Effie now. Continue breathing gently. Once you have given the mental affirmation command to the home fires of Effie, notice that a current of blue ice frequency begins to stream from the center point of the Effie home star around you. The blue ice current emerges from the Effie center, moving downward through chakra 7 at the top of your true body head, then moves further downward into your heart of Ephema point within your true body, filling your Ephema heart with blue ice quantum. Breathe gently and feel the blue ice frequency streaming down from chakra 7 into your Ephema heart point. Sense the pleasantly cool presence of the blue ice currents filling your heart of Ephema. Notice that each inhale breath brings in more quantum flow of the blue ice frequencies. And each exhale expands it out into your heart of Ephema in your true body. Sense the pleasantly cool presence. There's a real presence there that if you lean into it, you can sense. It's not unpleasantly cold, just pleasantly cool. Next, notice that a current of pink fire frequency begins to stream from the center point of the Efi home star around you. The pink fire current emerges from the Efi center, moving upward through chakra 1, your base chakra between your legs, then moves further upward to join the blue ice current within your true body heart of Ephema point. Sense the gently warm presence of the pink fire current as it interfaces with the cool blue ice current in your heart of Ephema point. Feel with each inhale breath the pink fire currents come up through your base chakra, and each exhale expands them into your heart of Ephema point, joining them with the blue ice currents that are running from the top down into your heart of Ephema. Continue breathing gently. Step 7. Focus your attention upon your true body heart of Ephema, within the center point of the Efi home star, and notice that as the blue ice and pink fire currents interface here, the two currents progressively transfigure into a pale intraviolet singing vaporwave quantum. Breathe gently as your heart of Ephema fills with intraviolet vaporwave quantum, and notice that as this quantum increases, your heart of Ephema point finally pops to become a sphere of Efi home starlight filled with the violet vapor quantum and containing now a minute chi-wave rainbow crystal at its core. Breathe gently and sense that pop point and sense that little minute rainbow crystal that is emerged at the center point of your heart of Ephema. At first, this Efi home star sphere and your heart of Ephema will be about the size of a tennis ball. Step 8. Sense the presence of your Ephema heart Efi home star sphere, noticing that it is approximately the size of a tennis ball, positioned in the central vertical column at the center point between chakra 3, solar plexus, and chakra 4, heart chakra, in your true body, Ephema heart point. Now inhale deeply into the Ephema heart, drawing in more pale aqua ether vapor light from the Efi home star surrounding you, merging it with the pale intraviolet vapor current within the heart of Ephema. Hold at the top of the inhale to increase current flow quantum. Now exhale firmly, using the exhale breath to expand the heart of Ephema. To expand the heart of Ephema and Efi home star sphere outward, expanding its size from the inside pushing outward until it expands to approximately the size of a small melon, like a cantaloupe. Sense the presence of your expanded heart of Ephema in your true body, feeling a sensation as if it is expanding your ribcage and lungs. Take a few more gentle, normal breaths and just breathe in and through your expanded heart of Ephema, your expanded Ephie home star sphere. Sense your rainbow crystal, little tiny rainbow crystal at its core. And now, step 9. Once you can sense your Ephema heart, Ephie home star sphere expansion, return your attention to the pale white vortex that your true body traveled up through to enter the center point of the Ephie home star. Sense that you are currently positioned at the top side tip of the vortex, at the center of the Ephie home star, and that now you will begin your true body descent back downward through the pale white vortex and into your physical body. Inhale gently into your heart of Ephema, Ephie home star sphere, and hold at the top of the inhale to build quantum thrust. Then in one firm exhale breath, push your true body down, firmly, gently downward through the pale white vortex and into your physical body, aligning the Ephema hearts of your true and physical bodies. Breathe gently and easily now, and feel the return of your plasma body, true body, into your physical body. Sense within your physical body the expansion of your Ephema heart, that it is now about the size of a small melon. Feel with your physical body, if you can, the sense of the expansion of the ribcage and the lungs that comes with the expansion of the heart of Ephema. And just relax gently and peacefully. And now that your heart of Ephema, Ephie home star sphere activated through a body, has returned to your physical body, you are ready to engage Technique 2, Cracking the Shell of Contention, Pan Step 3 completion. And what I will do for this, they're saying give a restroom break, 5, only 5. And they're saying to take 5, and because this one will be a bit longer, because it's 17 steps long, so it's a good time for a restroom break. Give you a 5-minute break, and try to stay in this slow space as you're moving. Don't get up and run unless you have to go to a neighbor's or something to use the restroom. Try to move in the pace that we're beginning to set with the slowing of the wave. It's also a slowing of the speech, slowing of the wave, and a slowing of the brainwave patterns, moving more into alpha state, more into receptivity of being able to journey further and farther out, where you can experience an expanded state of consciousness. So as you go for the Take 5 break, try to keep that slowness of movement and thought with you, and we'll be right back.